Hello, this is Chris here with Is It Worth Seeing Theatrically, and I'm talking together. This is the newest movie from Michael Shanks, starring Brie, Alison, and Dave Franco. Off the bat, is this worth seeing in the theater? Well, I would say for full price, it is, with the caveat, you have to be into body horror. If you're not into the body horror films, kind of like the Cronenberg horror movies, this one may not be something you want to watch. In which case, I would say if you're curious about it, what's going on, in that case, discount day would be a good one for you, or wait for it to come out on streaming. It is a interesting movie in that case. Alright, so now that I've given you the spoiler-free Is It Worth Seeing Theatrically, I'm going to kind of spoil some things for you. So this movie is about a couple who leaves, I believe it's supposed to be New York. And they kind of move out into the countryside area. And Dave Franco plays like this kind of, he still wants to be a rock star type of person. And Alison Brie plays a school teacher who takes a job as a at the local school in this small town that they end up in. And there are some really good like horror moments in the first half. There's a kind of a scene early on when Dave Franco and Alison Brie are laying in bed, and Alison Brie's back is turned to Dave Franco, and she kind of starts talking about him resenting her, and he's like, what? And then she's like, just make sure they stop watching us. And he looks up, and across from them is like an extension of another bed with two people on it staring at him. And it's a moment that really works. There's a couple other ones early on that do that. They eventually end up coming across like this cave, and Dave Franco drinks the water that's in this cave, and with that he slowly starts combining with her, I guess you could say. Like he has this insatiable thirst to be with her, and so every time he gets close to her after that, it's like the body starts like joining up. This is where the body horror aspect of the movie really kind of starts to take off. And about halfway through the movie, you kind of find out there was a church there that believed that at one point in time our souls were connected. So man was actually 4 arms, 2 heads, 4 legs, and at one point Zeus was upset, and he separated out our bodies. And so this church is trying to connect people back together through this ritual of drinking this water in this area. And it's this weird supernatural aspect to the movie. But when they really start going in with the body horror, where Dave Franco's hand is going underneath the skin of Alison Brie's, and they're like combining into a single person, they have this moment where they pull out diazepam, because it's not Valium, it's diazepam. It's a muscle relaxant, and they use it, and as they're like trying to use it to kind of relax the body, because the body is doing its own thing and the mind's like trying to tell it not to do things, but through this it gets really absurd, because Dave Franco is like, oh, if you snort it it gets into your system faster, and so they start crushing up pills and snoring. And I truly believe it was a choice made to kind of add some levity to the body horror, because without that moment, I'm sure the body horror would become incredibly uncomfortable, incredibly hard to sit there and watch. But because it's so absurd after that moment, the last half of the movie, every time there's like this moment of like incredible body horror aspects going on, there's just an absurdity to it that's so great that it's no longer, the movie doesn't have the same impact in the second half as it did in the first half. And it's because it's like the director wanted to lighten the body horror aspect and not have it so incredibly hard for people to watch. It's not to say that it lessens the movie in any way, because it still is a good movie. It's just, it's an issue of some of the more effective horror occurs in the first half of the movie. So it's an hour and 40 minutes long. So probably the first 50 minutes of the movie, there's quite a few more like really effective horror scenes that kind of stick with you and just get under there and make you unnerved. And then the second half of the movie, once they start introducing like this absurdity to kind of lessen the terror that comes with these horror moments, it's not as terrifying. It's not under the skin like that first half was. Overall, it's a pretty good movie. It's a solid film. It was worth seeing in the theater at full price. I mean, realistically, I pay for the Regal Unlimited, so I pay a monthly fee, which most movies end up being about $6-7 to see anyway in the theater. But if you've seen it, leave a comment down below. Let me know, what did you think? Was this an effective horror movie, or was it not really that great for you? I appreciate subscribing to the channel, giving this video a like. It gets more people to watch the videos, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye bye.